and I'm going to welcome you officially all for being here, and those of you who might be joining us on the replay. Gosh, I feel like I haven't said that in a while. I would love to start with us all dropping in, so here we go, inviting you to take a really big, nice, cleansing, deep breath. Close down your eyes if you feel to. And just noticing your body. And this is a chance to notice your breath. And notice what happens to your breath as you notice it. And also to notice the mind, what it might be saying in this right now moment. In my experience, it's always saying something. And remembering that the only thing to do is to notice it. We're not here to judge. And each time that you notice it, the invitation is to come back to your breath and your body. Bringing your attention to the weight of your body, to the base of your body, where it is connected to your seat, to the floor, wherever you are right now. Just noticing what it feels like for your body to be resting, to be held. And as you bring your awareness to this space, wherever you are the most connected to Mother Earth, just noticing that you can't fall through. You really are supported. Just feeling the physicality of your body. And as you feel into this grounded connection, you may notice that your body wants to do some releasing or letting go. And just giving your body full permission to do that. If you need to stretch, if you need to yawn, if you need to loosen your jaw joint, let anything go. As we bring our connection to the earth in the same way that our homes are earthed for our safety. Any excess energy that is not aligned with our truth has the opportunity to let go, release back to her. So do not stop it, whatever you do. And stay with your breath as you allow that. Encourage it a little even. Anything that's not yours, surrendering it, releasing the distraction so that you can be fully in your body and in your awareness. And when you feel ready, knowing that full permission to be in your body is absolutely here for you today, tonight. Bringing your attention, your awareness up your midline now. And just noticing the parts of your body as you move it slowly up through your solar plexus, up to your heart space. And just let your awareness rest wherever it feels to. And staying with your breath, and noticing and sensing, being fully aware of wherever your awareness is laying in your body. Just really turning your attention inward, noticing and accepting whatever is present. I would like to offer an overarching intention for this space today. That is that we all hear, we all receive, we all feel exactly what we came here for. And that we all remain open to whatever that is. And if you would like to feel into or let another intention that is yours be there for you, you are more than welcome to hold that. And if you do have some cacao in front of you, then I invite you to pick it up. To hold it in your hands. And to take some breaths as you tune in to an intention, to this beautiful medicine. It continues to help us embody ourselves. And I would like to call in the Mama Cacao into our space today, into our lives, into our bodies, inviting you, Cacao, to hold us and to help us. To support us, to let us feel your support. To continue to allow us to fully embody and fully love the truth of who we really are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Staying with your beautiful presence. When you're ready, you may bring your cup to your nose, to your lips, breathing in, smelling, sensing, staying internal. When you feel ready, drinking, allowing this medicine to be received, to do her beautiful magic with you, with all of us. And just staying present with your breath. Allowing your body to fully receive her. When you feel ready, inviting you to deepen the breath a little bit, letting your belly soften. Letting any extra tension that might have been there release. Letting your shoulders drop. And a bit of attention to your jaw once more. Taking some deeper breaths now into the belly. The intention of landing in this moment. Ready to receive. And when you feel ready, noticing your fingers, your toes, taking a stretch. And slowly fluttering your eyes open when you're ready. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome again. Now, just doing a little quick change of my settings here. Yeah, take a little shake or a stretch if you need. Gonna come back with full attention. A strange little thing happening on my Zoom. But you know what? We're just gonna roll with it. So, there's always a little sharing in me before I get going here, so I'm gonna try and keep it brief. But basically, what has been coming through this particular design, that is cat, has been it has been this sense of sharing the how-to as quickly and efficiently as possible, how to live your design, how to just do it, how to do it without having to know everything, how to do it without having to explore or read the damn book. What would have been the most impactful for me, perhaps, when I first began on this journey? Just it's the actual knowledge is as extensive as the universe itself. And what I have been witnessing in my almost 3 years of this experiment is, and this is just the knowledge, of course, is that there are people who are built for this knowledge and to go all the way in. And there are most of us who just want the answers. Just skip to the cliff notes so I can live my life. And then, of course, there's everyone in between. And to be fair, I do feel like I fluctuate between nerd sessions and then, I just want to know how to be in my body consciousness. Strategy and authority is about us living our design, our truth, our body consciousness, getting out of our own way, dropping the mind, dropping that battle with ourselves, and living from a place of truth. So I'm going to put up the slides and we're going to see what happens. One moment. Here we go. Cool. So this is definitely education mode. And my intention here is to give us everything we need, but nothing we don't. Just so you know, you guys who are here live, I can't see you anymore. So, oh, actually, maybe I can. Oh yeah, I can make myself see you. Good. So, to be fair, I would prefer no interruptions, but well, yeah, I would love to just burn through this and then interruptions at the end. So, what is human design? What is the origin of it? And I get asked this all the time. So in 1987, there was a very unique event, the death of a star. The bit that always gets me about this little history piece is that it just wasn't there long ago. A mystical event occurred all over the planet, and Ra-Uru-Hu, who was the first student of human design, that was how he referred to himself, was in Ibiza, Spain, and he had a mystical encounter with what he referred to as the voice. Ra was told that he would be the clarion to introduce this new body of knowledge to the world, and so was the birth of human design. And that last point I'm going to leave in the we don't need to know that right now pile. But what I will say is that I get a lot of people saying to me, oh, so it was channeled. And I want to be clear that Ra would never have said that. He didn't say that, in fact. He said, I had a mystical encounter with a thing that referred to itself as the voice. So I guess for me, the difference between hearing someone's channeled something versus what I have seen and heard, and there is actually a really, really good video that Ra did himself about the voice. When I hear of someone channeling something, it sounds kind of amazing. It sounds like like it was a beautiful, I want to say like godlike experience. Like I channeled it, like it was profound and beautiful. Ra said it was shit. That is the difference. He says it hurt, it was fucked. He was the most skeptical person there is. If someone had said, well, you channeled it, and they did, he just was like, he never would have said that. He didn't say that. He did not enjoy it. He wished it wasn't happening. That's the point. So yeah. Well, everything I'm going to say from now on is what the voice said through Ra. So if there's anyone watching this that hasn't heard anything like this before, we may not know the answers. We'll have to find the voice. Just so you know, this is what the voice said. It said that there was a mutation that happened in 1781. Not so long ago. I don't know. What's that? 241-ish years to date ago. Yeah, that feels true. So, what happened at that time, this was a genetic mutation within the Homo sapien being, humans as we know it, from a seven-centered machine, and I'm going to start using language that is jargon, that is human design jargon. We went from Homo sapien, a seven-centered machine, mechanical being, to the Homo sapien in transitus, an in-between model, a nine-centered being. And this is why we have ancient wisdoms like yoga, as an example, or that are based on a chakra system that has 7 beautiful colored chakras, because that stuff was brought to humanity before this mutation. And the point here is that we have had a mutation and we are now catching up to it. Human design is sharing with us, you are no longer seven-centered. That's a huge piece of human design. There's something else here as well. The Homo sapien, with its 7 centers, was rightfully and correctly guided by the mind, guided by the chakras in the top of the head. And that is no longer the case. The 9-centered being that we are now and have been for the last more than 200 years has correctly, at least, should be being guided by something that is not the mind. And page turn. So this is a little bit generic, but some might be asking, why would we bother? God, that's a huge question. I'm just going to read what's here. So we get to awaken to our true selves. Whilst we're all running around thinking that we're 7-centered and operating from the mind, we're not being who we are. It gives us permission to be ourselves and have compassion for others, to make decisions that point us in the correct direction for our life purpose to unfold, to let us move in harmony with the flow of life, to let us find our right place and attract our right people and opportunities, thus having a correct life, the right life, you might say, to let us operate with correct frequency so our cognition works properly, and to let us transform our conditioning. And the Lady Cat translation of that is to have a good life. Like to actually be, I mean, it's 2 things actually. The way that I see this is 1, the flow of life, so that we feel good in our everyday, so that our bodies are not meeting resistance at every turn. And then I guess the larger perspective is that this is it's the purpose perspective for humanity, in fact. But yeah, if you want to feel good. Human design is not any of these things, but it is a synthesis of all of them. So not each thing plus all the other things, not astrology plus chakra system plus the Judaic Kabbalah plus the Chinese I Ching, but a mash of them all together to create one thing. And just as an example, people who have been deep diving into astrology for a long time, who come across human design, don't often see much of a correlation. The astrology that is human design astrology versus Western astrology, at the very least, you can tell that it's a synthesis. People in that realm can tell that it's a synthesis. And if they are trained in astrology, they might say human design astrology is incorrect, because it's not astrology. It's part of the synthesis of human design. Now this beautiful little image took me a very long time to get my head around. And my body still doesn't like it. 1 minute. Okay, so the voice said, just to remind you, the voice said that our 9-centered beings are made up of these 3 important pieces. Just give me 1 more minute. Okay, personality crystal, which is in the head center, or in fact just outside of the physical body. Personality crystal. The design crystal, which could be called the 3rd eye, in the Ajna center, that one is called. The magnetic monopole, which is in the heart center, or what we might call our heart if we were 7-centered, but actually this is our G center, but you can see there, heart. So top of the head, Ajna center, heart. Now what's really important about this is what their roles are. So this is how we get the 7-centered differentiation, and they're not led by our minds. So I'm going to start with the design crystal. The design crystal is the leader of your body. or the vehicle. So have keep your eyes on the cartoon is what I found helpful. The vehicle. So our bodies are the vehicle. We have the driver, which is this magnetic monopole that knows exactly where we're going. It's almost kind of like on a cable cart. We're born and we're hooked up to a cable cart and off we go. We're driven by this magnetic monopole right in the center of our chests. Obviously the driver of the car in this analogy. And we have our personality crystal, which you might call the mind, that used to be the driver but has now been put in the back seat as that mutation happened. So now the passenger. So we have passenger, driver, did it wrong, passenger, vehicle, driver. And I'm just going to take a breath. Yeah. There's this stuff that wants to come in that I want to try and translate it into seven-centered language, but I'm just resisting that because it's not going to help anyone. So I'm sure everyone has seen before what a human design chart looks like. You can see it in the bottom corner here. When we are talking about the black in our charts, we're talking about the passenger. And when we're talking about the red in our charts, we're talking about the vehicle. And I'm just going to leave that there for now, because there's a little more to be said on the next slide. This is what a human design mandala looks like. And now we're going to talk about how we all get our individual body graphs. We have the black, which is from the personality crystal, and we have the red that is from the design crystal, just like we talked about here. Personality design, passenger, vehicle, and each of our charts, like you see here, this is an example of a full-blown chart, has two parts. They're actually two completely separate and potential, have really no correlation to each other. Ra used to say this was a forced marriage, and what I get from him saying that is that they really are two, and it could be anything. They could be like this and this have no correlation to each other. I've said it already. I think that's the only thing that's important there. So as you can see, we have this black and we have this red, and to make up our whole chart, we have both. Just to get that clear. Now I am going to attempt to put this all together, and I'm going to have to start by talking about neutrinos, because human design really is nothing without neutrinos. Neutrinos have been found now to be the very smallest piece of possible oh my god, I'm doing science, hang on. The smallest particle known to man. I have to use my language. I feel like the best way to explain neutrinos is that they are stardust radiating at the Earth all the time in vast quantities. There is some actual, I'm not going to get this right, but 3,000 per centimeter per minute or something. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's light. It's beyond light. It is stardust radiating from it's actually real stardust, not me being a mystery tripper, but real stardust coming at us through the atmosphere all the time and changing all the time depending on what is happening in the stars. Let me just think what's relevant to say. So this is how we get our imprint. When we are born, actually, let me just backtrack a little bit. So in every moment of every day, we have a slightly different neutrino field. So that stardust that is radiating at us all the time, every day, shifting, some planets shifting more slowly than others, but either way, we're in a slightly different, you might say, this is where people say it's a different frequency today, because we are being impacted by the actual particles that are coming into our bodies from the atmosphere, from that. I'm saying stardust because I'm not a scientist, but let me tell you, it has been proven. So these little neutrinos are always affecting us, and they affect us right to our core, right to the codons of our DNA. So that black and that red of our chart are the imprints. The black one is an imprint of the neutrinos on the child's codons the moment it was born. So you can imagine, child comes out into this particular frequency of the atmosphere, this flavor of stardust, it impacts the codons. So take a deep breath, because learning that is getting, I don't know, I mean, even still saying that, I'm like, am I even serious right now? When I first learned that, it was like, that can't, like, we're definitely in mystical land now. But I've come to realize that we're not. I'm just going to have to say that. That is what I have experienced to be true for nearly 3 years now. And it just explains everything. So if you can stay open to that, I hope you will. The next piece that is equally earth-shattering, in my opinion, is that we have on the outside of the mandala these hexagrams. You may have seen those before. They are the hexagrams of the I Ching, and I'm gonna be cat when I say this, but the best way I can explain what each of these are is that they are explanations for the 64 flavors of life. They are, the I Ching is the Chinese book of wisdom that was written before history was written. It's just the oldest book that anyone has ever known, and it predates everything, it predates man. It's like the oldest book there is. And these 64 hexagrams were written in there, and a description of a certain flavor of life. I swear it's the only way I can explain it was with that, is what the book is. This hexagram is this way, this perspective, this frequency, this way of seeing the world, this aspect of humanity, this flavor of our experience. So that's, I mean, just the fact that that book exists is a trip, and we could go down that forever, but it's not practical. What is awesome and amazing is that in the 70s, it was found to be true that these 64 codons can be matched up to the 64 hexagrams can be matched up to the 64 codons in our DNA. And breathe that in. So there are 64 ways and 64 flavors of life in each one of our DNA strands. Yeah, that blows my mind as well. So what we have is the neutrino field coming in and impacting the 64 ways we are in the world through our codons. Let me get my pointer. The way that human design reads this to tell us what we want to know, what we need to know, in my opinion, is that then it lights up one of these numbers. And again, I'm just telling you what the voice said. There's no rhyme or reason to this. We have the hexagrams that correlate to a gate number, these are called. They move through the astrological signs, which is much of a muchness at this basic level. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is that each of those gates then gets highlighted in each of our charts. And in our chart, this is what I mean by a gate. See where there's black one here, or this red one here, depending, like we've spoken about, on the on whether it's the personality or the design. And then when they come together, like this one here, then it is called a channel. And that is how the mandala comes together and how we get our body graph. Da, da, da. This is just a little bit more information. This is out of the Definitive Book of Human Design. Just reiterating what I've already said, really. Gates, I Ching wheel, the astrological wheel, the Kabbalah is in there, and then equaling the Rave body graph. Again, just presencing, there's a way that the mind goes, what? And today we're just, this is just what the voice said, this is the structure, and that's how the body graph comes to be, and we're just sticking with that for right now. That's a beautiful, the DNA and the I Ching hexagrams. Da, da, da. Actually, there is one piece I've missed out here. Just to go a little further, the 64 codons are split into 6 groups of amino acids per codons, as the 64 hexagrams are split into 6 lines per hexagram. I don't know. That's just wild and amazing to me. Did I just go the wrong way, or is that twice? So for this section, I just want to land here. We all have a body graph if we want to look it up, and all of our body graphs are almost completely different. And I just want to share about this uniqueness. So you're hearing Human Design a lot about this word unique. We are all unique. It's really important, actually, that we all get to be unique. What this slide is sharing is that the neutrinos highlight the gates and give us our channels and our whole body graph. And underneath each of those gates, there are a multitude of layers. So what it is saying is that, as an example, if I have gate 41 and Isabella has gate 41, there's this tendency for us to go, oh wow, me too, yeah, oh, what does that feel like to you? Oh, how does that play out? But without going into this too deeply, just to know that under each of those gates there are 6 lines, and under each line there are 6 colors, and under each color there are 6 tones, and under each tone there are 5 bases. So it's not infinite, but if you can imagine, when we've got 64 possibilities and then into each of these, we really are as unique as our fingerprints. And yeah, so that is how that works. And pause for a moment. Let me just stop sharing. Yeah, so I'm sure, I know you guys who are here with me right now know that I have your charts and know what you're looking at. But I don't know, every time I go through that, it's just like, oh wow, yeah, what is this? So I'm going to take a couple of breaths, and I'm going to invite you to do the same. And I'm going to do a little more. Yeah, I might just next do a quick share of a body graph. This one happens to be mine. So, there may well be people, if you are a person who has not yet seen a body graph, this is what it looks like. And it could look very different as well, as we've just discussed. But what's important here is just this one piece. So each of these gates, that could be red or black, that we've already discussed, when they join each other to create the whole channel, then each center at the end of those channels gets defined. And that's probably quite a lot of new language, someone who's brand new. So the reason that I have a defined throat and a defined solar plex, that is this one, is because I have this 22 gate and this 12 gate that join together. That is how everybody gets their definition. If, for example, I also had this 44 gate, you see my pointer, you guys? Yeah, okay, cool. If I also had this 44 gate, then I would have definition in my ego center here. That would be colored in. That's what I'm calling definition. And I would have definition in my spleen, which makes a difference. So it makes a difference at the very, very, very first level. And one moment while I share my next slides. Because the very, very first thing to know about each of us is what type we are. And the way that we know our type, I mean, apart from punching it into a digital device and it tells us, is this definition. So as an example, this is a generator type. That is about 70% of the population. The reason that it's a generator is because it has definition in the sacral. So that's what makes a generator. Our definition is what makes us our type. I'm going to now go through the 4 types. Yeah, I just am. So like I've just said, this is a generator. Now, when I'm talking about type, I am talking about the type of aura that we have. And this can be a strange jargony word. So I don't know about you guys, but when I first heard this aura in the human design context, it kind of made me go, that sounds a bit woo-woo. Like I'm thinking of people who see auras and like colors and photographic auras, as this word is used in a whole lot of different contexts. In human design, the aura refers to the body and the energy field that is 6 meters around the body and a 6 meter bubble around the body. And it's referring to all of it. And what it's referring to is the particular, like each of our different types of auras has a way of moving through the world, and a strategy to move through the world to make it easier. This generator aura, which is the most popular aura, is open and enveloping, and its strategy is to respond to the world. So, yeah, I'm really harping back here. I am not a generator, and when I have generators sit next to me, I feel like I'm getting a big warm hug. They are so open and enveloping. It really is the best language. It's beautiful. So if you are a generator, I'm trying to keep it super simple here. You are open and enveloping. Then the most important thing here is that you're built to respond. So if you are trying to do something, trying to make something happen, as an example, which we're all taught to do. I say it like that because the whole world of humans is conditioned to try and make something like, let's do it, just do it. Come on, let's make it happen. well, that's never going to work for a generator. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but you're going to come across a lot of frustration, which is the not self theme of the generator, if that is the way you run your life. The signature of the generator is to feel satisfied. If you are in your aligned truth, following your strategy, responding to the world, you will be satisfied. And I felt enough satisfied generators to know that that is damn worth it. So the generators are the life force of the planet. They have, assuming that they're responding, there is energy to be had, or to be used for the correct things for that being. If you get nothing else, and I am going to keep this super simple, it is that you're here to respond. And that response is coming from this sacral definition. So it's not respond with the mind. Yes, I definitely want to do that. It's responding with this, it's a pre-verbal body wisdom, I guess is one way to say it. That's not Ra's words, that's mine. It's pre-verbal. These are the little kids, and this is actually the best way to say it. I had one of these little kids. The little kids that are running around, and this little kid still lives inside you if you are a generator, that is asked, do you want to have lunch now? And if they're hungry, they'll go, and their body kind of moves for it. Yeah, And if they're not hungry, they can go, and run away. And that is their truth. That is their body wisdom, making sure they're on the right track in their full body alignment. There's so many ways to say that. That authority to respond still lives inside all of you generators, no matter what has happened and how conditioned you are in the world. And even if it's way underneath at this point in your life, which sometimes it is, to responding to the world is the way forward. Yeah, and the last piece that I will share is the way that this is the way this is said here with the not self theme, the signature. This is like the gauge of if you know you are responding with your body. It can be hard in the beginning. Like, was that my body saying yes, or does my mind just really want it? It's difficult to start with. If you are feeling frustrated, one of the things that I do with my not self theme and my signature is that at the end of the day, check in. Was I frustrated today? Would be the question for the generator. Do I feel frustration in my body? And as you get over time, you get to know the frequency of that, like what it feels like in your muscles. If there is a frustration, maybe more obvious or not. And then equal and opposite, do I feel satisfied? Is it the end of the day and I'm like, yeah, I've done a hard day's work and it was in the right direction and I was responding to everything and I nailed it. I feel satisfied. And that's how you can tell if you've been in response to your day or not. And when you are in response to your day, you're in the right place with the right people at the right time, living the right life, because that's what life is made up of. And now I'm going to move on to the projector. This is the beautiful projector that has a focused and absorbing aura. As you can see from this image, this aura is penetrative. I like to use that word as well. This aura penetrates other people's auras, reads what's going on for them, and comes back and is much more interested in the other person's aura and really not interested in their own. You can imagine that if somebody has a penetrative aura and they sit next to you, and if that person who they're sitting next to doesn't ask or want to be penetrated by it, then they are going to be shut down often and always before they learn their strategy and authority. Yeah, I mean, it's a mechanical thing for a projector to just jam their aura into someone else, and these are the people that you kind of feel like, oh, don't look at me, like you're so intense. Or they often have a really intense stare or just look, and those people who are, and it makes you want to turn away, it's too much. Those people are fucking magic when they are invited. But if they're not invited, if they're staring at the person and going, yeah, let me tell you, they're going to get shut down, and they're not going to be invited, and that causes a lot of bitterness. So the not-self theme for the projector is bitterness. They operate in a way, without this information, they just want to be focused and absorbing into everybody else, and it causes bitterness if it's not invited. When it is invited, though, it's look at me, I've got so many projectors that I love. Projectors have magic, real magic. Projectors, just as a side note, only came into humanity at that mutation I spoke about earlier, at that 1781 mutation. They are the newest type on the planet. There's plenty that human design doesn't say about them in its initial voice download, because it's new, because they're new. But for the point of this, waiting for the invitation is the strategy. If you are a projector, you absolutely have got bitterness in your system. There's no getting around it. Again, we're taught to do, move, make stuff happen, work really hard. A projector doesn't have the energy source that a generator does. There's no consistent energy for the projector. And so they are often working double time and feeling absolutely exhausted, waiting for an invitation that never comes and feeling really fucking bitter. And this will be impacting your health. That is how that works. There is a way to live as a successful projector, though. Wait for the invitation. It's a very good start. And now I will move to the manifestor. Oh, the projector is like 22-ish% of the population, just so you know. Then we have the manifestor, which is about 8-ish, 9% of the population. So we're getting smaller. And this aura is closed and repelling. It sounds super harsh, because it is. And I just want to mention at this stage that whatever you are is absolutely perfect, and all of the types are needed, and there is absolutely no wrong or right, or judgment, or good or bad, or anything. Like, anything that makes one better than the other is the mind. So drop that now. And let's get back to the manifestor. Closed and repelling. Manifestors are closed and repelling because they are here to start things. They don't have the energy, again, that the generators have, so they're not good at following through. They shouldn't be following through, to be honest. But they are kind of like wrecking balls. They break through walls and make stuff happen. That it is correct for them to initiate things. Let's start something. Now, often, even though we are in a conditioned world that says, yeah, make stuff happen, the manifestor doesn't necessarily know how to do that, because there's a whole bunch of conditioning that happens in the childhood of a manifestor. Manifestors are born into the world as these little initiating balls of start stuff, and you can imagine a child like that, right? They're told to sit the fuck down real quick. So often manifestors are actually the ones who are like, oh, I better not, because it hurts so much all those times I was told not to. So, in their natural amazingness, manifestors do whatever the fuck they want. They are very close to the program, and they see that things could and would and create, and they want to open doors. This frequency of, yeah, of course we can, let's do it, it's happening. What they're really shit at is telling people what's happening so that everyone around them doesn't get hurt. The classic metaphor for this is, I was wondering, I am a manifestor, so I might think of one that is myself. Yeah, I mean, it's really likely that I will be sitting in a room of people, or just with my partner or my kids or anyone, and I will be like, I need chocolate. And I will just get up and get in the car and go and buy chocolate and forget to see if anyone else wants any, tell anyone else that I'm going or how long I might be. And then, you know what, halfway to the supermarket I might end up down at the river having a swim, because I've just, what, who can? And the manifestor's awareness is it's not natural to inform. Before human design, I would have never thought anything of that. And when people said, where the hell did you go, what are you doing, and was super upset, I would have had absolutely no idea that I was impacting people. So manifestors impact. They need to inform, or learn to inform, which is not easy. But once they do, life gets a hell of a lot easier, let me tell you. What else is important here? Yeah, I mean, we're here for peace. We're here for peace, and so if we are informing and people are getting out of our way so that we can do things, yeah, actually I need to just hark back. That went a little bit off track. So what happens then if I don't inform is I've got a bunch of people, the manifestor has a bunch of people who have got they were not happy, and in the manifestor's way, don't ever do that again, what were you doing, blah blah blah. And the not self theme of anger comes out. If we don't get to do just whatever we need to do, and people ask us to people get in our way or get angry with us for doing whatever we want, anger is our thing. And anger, the anger of a not self-themed manifestor, which is everyone really before human design, can represent as heart pain or stomach problems or panic attacks. Or even such squashed anger that it turns into depression. It can be really, really, a lot of, especially the women that I speak to who are manifestors, I say anger, they're like, no, I'm not angry. And then 3 months down the track, they realize that they're angry. But it's presenting differently. So just watch that one. So strategy to inform. So, all it takes is for me to get up to go get chocolate and say, I'm going to get chocolate. That's basically, everyone fuck off, I'm doing whatever I want. And everyone goes, oh cool, she's going to get chocolate, who cares? And they're out of my way. That's how that works. And I get to feel peaceful. And at the end of the day, if there's any residual anger in my body, it is because I have not informed. And someone's been like, where were you? And I've been like, don't fucking ask me that. So peace. I can tell when I'm on track. The manifestor can tell when they're on track, when they feel peaceful. And finally, the reflector. And the reflector is only 1% of the population. They have a sampling aura. Now, I cannot speak with enough wisdom about this type because I have 2 reflectors in my life and they're not in the experiment. So I'm an experiential learner and I haven't had enough experience with these types. But what I will say is the best metaphors I've heard that have helped me understand, at least in a theory way, is that they are like the canaries in the mines. They are like litmus paper. They have no definition at all. So their gates do not match up, like I said, to define any of their centers, which means that they are open and sampling, and they can taste everybody else's definition. They're also very tuned in to the transit field that is still always on a rotation, doing something different every day. And that is why their strategy is to wait a whole lunar cycle. They're especially tuned into the moon transits. I may or may not have time to go into that a little bit more, because that is, I love that area. But basically, their strategy is to wait, but they're not waiting like the projector. They're waiting to go through all the, each moon transit has them be a slightly different personality, to feel a little bit different about themselves and the way they operate in the world. And if they need to make a decision about something, they may well make it while the moon is doing one thing, but have to follow through on it when the moon's doing something else. And it won't be a good decision because they haven't waited. So yeah, waiting a full lunar cycle is their strategy. And if they have not done that, they will feel disappointed because their decisions won't go well. And if they have done that, their signature is to be surprised, to be in surprise. Just seeing if there's anything else there. Yeah, of all the types, I mean, these guys are rare. So I'm definitely not in a position to be sharing it. I'm not an expert. But yeah, they are fascinating. Okay, so pause for a breath. What have we got? Oh, man, I just want to share everything. So I'm going to attempt now to just bring us back to, so assuming that you know your type, you will now know what your strategy is. And you can go and do your own research on that strategy, or you can let me know. I can go into it more deeply. There may well be other videos, but what you need to know is your strategy. The way that your aura mechanically walks through the world. And as you experiment with this information, because this is an experiment, all of it, you get to listen to the knowledge, learn about the knowledge, try it on for yourself. You may or may not find that you'll start to realize how your body does move through the world and what happens when I respond, when I don't respond. And you just get to play with that, like 101 human design. Try it out, see what happens. Do you know what? I'm feeling a little bit like this might be a 2-part series. I'm going to pause. Yeah, I'm feeling like pulling up. Well, that's what's happening. So, that's super weird, fair enough. So far, we all have a strategy that we get to go and play with. And I feel like opening to hearing anyone's experiments and then closing out. So I mean, I guess I'll just share the rest. So the other piece, so we all have a strategy and we all have an authority, or a part of our body that we can trust to make our decisions. So I guess the way that I first integrated this, I mean, I had done a lot of like embodiment and body wisdom and trust your body rather than your mind kind of work before I came to human design. And what I discovered in human design is that we all have a different body wisdom, and some of our actual intuitions, if you will, that's not the right word for human design, are from the body, or sometimes they are from the mind or from the voice, or we all have a different place to trust, a different part of us that is trustworthy. Now, there are the ways that we can, hang on. So there's the possibility of, I'm supposed to be stopping talking. It's stopping me. So funny. Yeah, so next time we're going to talk about authority. We're also going to talk about our open centers and the way that our minds get in the way of us finding and trusting and acting on that place we do trust, which we specifically can know with human design. And then we are going to talk about how the transits impact our experience. So I just want to share a little story with you, and then I'm going to open and hear from you guys who are here live if you want to. I've had a lot of experiences most recently. It's always quite quickly I got tuned into the transits and started realizing their impact on my life and on my mood and on my decision making, and how malleable and swept up in the transits I was. And then I've now gotten really strategic with the transits, especially there's a line day that happens on a 6-line rotation, and each line has a different theme. And so I've started doing things like I only deal with the material plane. I only deal with money and strategy and planning on a 3rd-line day, because that is the day that is best theoretically through human design to do that. And I guess just as a practical example, that has just been working so well. It means I don't think about it in any other time of the week, but when a 3rd-line day comes around, I'm like, oh my God, I really want to talk about paying my bills. I really want to figure this out right now. How are we going to pay that off? How are we going to do this? Where are we going to go next? Like all of the stuff that's like material plane is a 3 theme. And I know that if you're watching this for the first time, you're going to think, well, how does that mean? That's fine. And just so that you know, practical application is what human design is about. In comparison, I guess, astrology as an example, I'm a Pisces, and I always knew that I'm a water sign and I'm emotional. But when I hear that information, I go, yeah, of course I am. Cry every day. Thanks. How does that help me? Whereas with human design, there's thousands, but we'll keep it simple. Practical applications, actual practical applications. The other one is this 1st-line day. It's the best day for learning brand new things and being investigative and doing deep dives into theory or taking exams. Things will just go better if you pay attention to that stuff. Yeah, wow. So yeah. Yep. I'm being stopped. I would like you guys who are here with me live, does anyone need to take a little break? Anyone need the bathroom or anything like that? Good one. All right then. Well, in that case, keeping on topic if we can, and about our strategy rather than authority, so waiting to be invited or responding for you guys. If anybody has a either historical what that was like to learn or any kind of story about how that was, or what is presently there for you. I'd love a share. Does anyone feel like sharing anything about how they've been responding or being invited? Miss Sarah, please come and share with us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
First of all, I would like to say that, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
First of all, I'd like to actually say that um, it's been explained to me about design and personality a few times now, but this time around, when you were going, I know it's a bit woo-woo, not for me. It really went in there. That explanation was the best explanation for my being. How the neutrinos, like, I could actually not visual, but I could see it, how it happens. Because when you mention neutrinos as stardust as well, that isn't woo woo to my being. What you saying is woo woo, and this to my being is no, you're hitting the spots, because even my sacral was going, oh, that's why I was doing a lot of moving and a lot of like, I was even doing sounds. My being was literally celebrating that information for anybody who watches this in the future as well. If you see me flailing around, that's my body naturally reacting and getting excited over what Kat was sharing. So that's my sacral response. That is literally my sacral response. I want to add into that. I've sensed that I feel it literally from my pelvic area, what you call the womb area, and it like goes, and you can't stop it. It goes, sort of thing. And I hate waiting to respond to things, sort of thing, going, yeah, I want to get up and run around and do this and do that. And yeah, by the time the end of the day, it's like, shit, I've actually done nothing, but I wanted to do this, 10 million things. What a lot of people would label that ADHD and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm not going there. I had an experience where I went to a Hublu, a cacao gathering of beings, and the friend that I went with, Pamela, I was talking into wanting to do something in the space, like outdoors and doing stuff, and she must have remembered, and she said to me, oh, I think they do voluntary work here. And my being automatically wanted to just go and fucking ask straight away. That was my responding. I did not initiate that. I spoke to somebody about something. That's not initiating to me. It was just a conversation back and forth. Then she must have remembered in her energy field. And then she told me that I went and spoke to somebody, but then it went into a whole other theme of something else happening. And I went for a weekend out camping and foraging and journeying. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, was it you, right? But yeah, to taste the world around me and stuff, I've been stuck in a world that is not for me. It really isn't for me. And for being like me, my personality and my aura that you've mentioned is meant to be enveloping, it's meant to be fuzzy, and I've got this personality, apparently awareness of a manifesting generator that wants to be on the go, that wants to be doing multiple things at once, and blah blah blah. But then I've got, this is where I must admit, I've got the design where I honestly, I've looked at my design chart and my personality chart separate as you showed them, and my design is that of a reflector sort of thing. And it makes so much sense to me to have that. I've got this like, yeah, I want to defend myself because of what's happened to me in life and all this, and I'm the boss bitch, as somebody said it to me. That's in my awareness field. But then I've got this other part, the design that's so soft, and it's like, hi, hey, hello, okay, goodbye. Hi, hey, hello, okay, hi, hello, oh, okay, goodbye. Like, just like that. So, and it's like, oh, I can sense what you're feeling right now. Hi. Yeah, but yeah, I can sense I'm going off topic. And I know. Yeah.
Well, if it's okay with you,
But
I've got a couple of
yeah,
things to say on top of that. If that's
definitely. Thank you for this sharing today. Go on.
sorry, we've got a little bit of a bad scratchy connection. You're so welcome, and thank you for sharing. I just want to point out that for anyone who is brand new, that a manifesting generator is still a generating aura. Still a generator aura. I mean, we know this, and yes, there are absolute differences, but for 101, just so that you know, you're a generator. Um, and that's a beautiful example. That's a beautiful example of a body response. A question I didn't mention
Ooh, that.
actually when I was saying
That.
about
I
generators.
can't.
The generator
Very
responds the
connected.
best to questions. So when Pamela said to you, do they do that here or do you want to do that there? Of course, then the body can come into it. It's a feeling response. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and that's why I've learned with yourself to ask you sometimes, do you want to? And then I can respond to it as like the analogy earlier, the strumming of the
Mm-hmm.
guitar strings, and it hits that note, and it's like, and it just goes right from the space down here, and it just goes, and it's so that.
When
And
you know,
yes,
you
the
know.
DNA and the iTunes. Oh my God. Yes, I could go into this as well. Oh my God. Oh,
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. There's a definite sacral frequency. Thank you, darling. Just invite everyone to take a breath, and if you need to turn away from your screen for a minute, if you don't have a sacral. And I'd love to invite Isabella if you would like to share anything about your strategy, or how that's been defined or where you're currently at with it. Would you like to?
no, I just ask you one quick thing, Kat,
Oh,
before we do.
yes, you may.
You know, when you say that, is I just want to actually clarify this because it's been on my mind a bit.
Sure.
Is the sacral energy quite like overwhelming for beings that have got an open chakra?
It's a
So I've
good
noticed
question.
you do that, and then my being goes, "Oh, I'm
Oh,
overwhelmed."
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like,
That's
sorry, not that mean to be, but I'm so excited. Oh,
no,
okay.
no. There's nothing wrong on your end at
But
all.
if it is,
No. I will share that
but
with
is
you.
it
So
overwhelming?
just like every
Thank you.
every center, and I knew this was going to happen. If anyone who has an open center in any department and is in the auric field of getting the energy of someone who has definition in that center, then it is amplified. So in this example, you have a sacral that is responding like a mofo and just going woo. It's coming into me and my body is starting to sweat. Like it's literally like the energy is going, and it's like it's a lot. I haven't been around a generator all day. In fact, probably for a few days running, and yeah, you can see I'm like totally into what you're saying, and then I'm like, give me a sec here, and I need to let that go because it's not mine. And it's more energy than it is in your body because you're built for it. Yeah, that's what I mean. And
Whoa, I
yeah,
needed that
ah,
because mine, I have to try and settle mine down. So for others, but
yeah,
whoa, when
yeah.
mine goes, I'm like, whoa. damn, that's a lot. So wow, thank you, thank you, thank
Totally.
you.
No, that's great to clarify. It is when that's what you do to non-sacral beings, and that's often why non-sacral beings get exhausted as well, because that is moving through us so much. If we are around people every day, we need a break. It's too much. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Wow.
That's gold.
Oh, wow.
All right, lovely. I'm going to mute you, but that was a perfect share. I do enjoy sacral frequency. It's just also need to breathe it out. And back to Miss Isabella. Do you feel like you would like to share what's present for you in your projectorness?
Thanks, Kat.
Please.
I think one thing that has been really prominent in my awareness is that when my mind goes crazy, that I should be doing something, that it's not the right thing to be doing.
Right.
Or okay, oh, I should be calling this person, or like all the shoulds that my mind is telling me, or I should be scared right now because of this and that, or I need to do something, that it's mostly, or, oh, I need to again reach out to this person because otherwise they think I'm not serious about human design, or whatever it might be, and to really see it and not act on it. That has been very in the forefront for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
And then also about, being invited. I've been trying out to inform also people, to say I could share something, which, opens me up for being shut down, obviously, because if somebody says no, and to do it out of a space where I'm not so attached to it, to say it or not. And often I've been told, especially from William, my partner, he's like, where's it coming from? And I'm like, human design. And he's like, no, thank you. And to be okay with that as well, because I could share something or not. And yeah, definitely the bitterness, like just with smallest things, when I feel like, oh my God, people are so stupid. or if I, well, sometimes if I'm asking something, which I shouldn't be the first one to say something, and people just ignoring me, that's another thing, projector thing. People just don't see you or hear what you're saying if it's not invited.
Yeah.
That really, I can really feel how that bitterness is inside of me. Yeah. I think I'm more familiar with the bitterness than the success yet.
Yeah.
And the awareness around it all is really becoming more and more, I would say. So that's the first thing to do in the first few years, right? So
totally. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. It really is a very unique perspective and experience for a projector. I really appreciate your insight. Thank you. Oof, because I can't speak to it, can I? I'm just going to check your comment in a little bit, Sarah. Just going to invite everyone to take a breath as well. Not because of sacral this time, but just because. Yeah, I guess I'm tuning into like the projectors that I have introduced human design to, where it feels immediately, yeah, I mean, maybe it's true for everyone, but specifically it seems to be projectors that feel like, what? Well, then how am I going to do my life if I just have to be invited to everything? And yeah, I mean, fair. It's a thing. It's tricky. And it's not impossible, and it is something you get to experiment with. One of the best things that my partner, who you all know, did with me when he was very first experimenting with so he's a projector, was us just walking down the street, like one person in front and one behind, and seeing what the difference was in our auras. So he would walk in front, and he would bump into everyone, and have to excuse me, like really difficult walking through the supermarket, and then swapping over in the manifest, like no one gets in my way. And so just the very noticing of that. I actually did a reading for a manifestor in Ireland, and we walked across the road together afterwards in front of a car, just almost on purpose. I literally was like, watch this, we're walking in front of traffic, and the car was like, stop. It is when, I mean, I have obviously a deep trust in this this work to do something that's stupid, but just the noticing of it, and then the strategy and authority is then how to guide the life. So yeah, I mean, the waiting to be invited, I guess on a long way around with a weird story, what I'm saying is, I mean, the projector can walk down the street and bump into people, or can wait to be invited to be walking down the street in the first place, and then life gets easier. But it's a hard pill to swallow to start with for the mind. The mind thinks it's difficult until you actually start noticing the actual energetics of it and the way the body moves through the world, and realize that, yeah, that it's possible, that it's potentially true and helpful, and then things change. And yeah, and it does take a full 7 years. So thank you for mentioning that too, Isabella. Not easy. I'm just checking your comments, Sarah. Yeah, also getting a sense of being ignored as a generator. Yeah, generator, I mean, I guess what I'm also trying to bring our attention to is that there's not necessarily anything to do, but just to notice, oh, okay, that worked well that time because I waited, and that didn't work well that time because I didn't wait. And in effect, it's just keeping it very simple. The other thing I feel to mention is, like, it might sound very amazing to some people that if I walk in front of a car, the car stops. But the flip side of that is that I'm the one who has to walk in front of the car, which is terrifying. And yeah, I definitely have my bone to bear. Oh, right, so no one's going to go first. Shit. And it doesn't feel natural or fun or not painful most of the time, especially in the beginning. But the notable correctness of it is apparent in my life and in lots of people around me now. So Tanya, you are very, very welcome to share. And would you like to just do an obvious yes or no to me? A yes like this, or a no? Aha, I'd love to hear you. Yeah, come on out.
Oh,
You got it. Take your time.
I always think this is going to get easier. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for this, the simplicity of this information. I'm just still trying to find my voice.
Totally. Yeah. Plenty of time.
Yeah, a lot of appreciation for what's just occurred. Just going over everything and what's been going on in my awareness is the side of me that always feels like I don't know enough, and it sets me back. And yeah, honesty has been my healer. Honest about where I am. So I'd like to just respond to, as a generator, the first time that I heard about responding, when you asked that question, it was like I was reliving it. And I felt this amazing release of pressure. Before human design, I responded to everything. I felt I had to. I believed I was here to respond to everything in every moment. So when I heard to wait, to respond, it was like, the waiting. A lot of pressure. It was just a lot of, just fell away. It was really a big thing for me to hear that. And of course, 2 years plus into this experiment, it's been a process and a long one. Going from that initial pressure of, wow, I don't have to respond to everything in every moment, to, the impatience of waiting, to now it's a flow. of waiting. It's I don't struggle to just wait. I don't know how to entirely express that. That's all I wanted to share.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Complete. Beautiful sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Inviting everyone to take a nice deep breath. Thank you for your sharing, beautiful. That was awesome. Yeah. You know, there's part of me that just wants to scream and shout from the rooftops the possibility of us living our lives with this information. And I always navigate this, the like the mind wanting to do that versus the how and the what just flows through me and needs to be said. And it's one of these palpably beyond words feelings to live life from a place of correctness. I mean, I just remember in the beginning even hearing the word correct and just being like, no one's going to tell me if I'm getting it right. Or, you know, there's like so much resistance to even the language. For me there was. My current journey is just that of living it, being the example of it, and obviously grappling with the words and trying to share it when it feels correct. But really the sharing comes from all of us living correctly, and the feeling of that then others get to get from us. And that's coming through me because I feel that with you, Tanya. So it just feels correct. Something very correct in that moment of you sharing. So thank you. Just for reminding me. So good. All right. I'm also really loving how I trusted my feeling and pulled us up. I've got a little notebook here with how it all flowed through and this creation of how I want it to stack up to create the impact, of course. And I'm very much looking forward to doing this again, and maybe even it's a 3-part, but we're just in time for a close. And just so you guys know, this feels like it's going to happen for a while, where we're going to do an education segment every other week and ceremony the other. So for the next while we'll be doing this. The next call at least, maybe one more. I'm going to be laying these foundations so that people coming into this canvas can get these foundations as we go forward. And then there's obviously just the eternal mystery to share. So I'm feeling really excited about continuing to do that. But for now, I would like to invite you to come back into your own experience and close your eyes if you wish. Get comfortable on your seat, your chair, wherever you are. And take a couple of nice deep breaths. And stretch your jaw joint again if required. Settle back into your body and just into your senses, noticing whatever you're noticing. Feeling your base on your chair, your floor, your feet on the floor. Feeling that grounded connection to the earth. And as you breathe, inviting you to breathe in the frequency of gratitude. And anything that is not gratitude or is yet to be released that's not yours, inviting that to go back to the earth, breathing that through your base or through your feet. Take a few breaths like this. In the gratitude, and anything that's not serving or not yours, letting that go. And with that breath coming in, you might like to notice the things specifically that you might be grateful for in this moment. Just bringing them into your awareness and letting them help you build more gratitude. Grateful for the moment itself. Grateful for this knowledge. Grateful for each of our individual perspectives and their divine perfection. And if it feels correct for you, inviting you to stay with that breath and let that gratitude continue to build. And whilst you do, I would like to offer gratitude to our dear Mama Cacao, Spirit of Cacao, embodiment medicine, that has been so integral in my human design journey. Helping with awareness. Full gratitude for helping us to be in our bodies, in our truth. Helping us to gain clarity, wisdom, and to see ourselves anew in every moment. And thank you for your support, your everlasting, always backing, amazing support, cheering us on as we continue to strip back layers, to learn more, and to understand and be who we each uniquely are. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to thank each of you, beauties who have been here live and had the courage, the wisdom, the voice to share with us. Thank you. Always so beautiful to be in your spaces. And thank you to any and all beings who get to watch this in the future. Thank you for showing up, for having the courage to be in the space and to continue to open. You're so welcome here. And again, I'm going to invite you to drop your belly. Loosen the jaw, drop the shoulders. They might need a roll or a scrunch up and down. And in your own time, taking 3 more intentional breaths as deep as you can into the belly, and there may even be sound on the way out as you land. Full presence. Fully grounding your connection to this moment. Slowly allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Noticing your fingers, giving your toes a scrunch. Anywhere else that needs to move, to stretch, to yawn, as you rediscover yourself in this new forward-facing reality. Slowly bringing your eyes back, opening, presencing yourself. Thank you. Welcome forward to the next part of your beautiful adventures. So beautiful to be with you all. Yeah, thank you, thank you. And we will be back. Any questions or comments are more than welcome. Best place for those is in the canvas, just in the thread. And yeah, see you soon. See you soon. Blessings. Bye now. Lots of love.